U.S. mortgage giant to accept Bitcoin this year and considering other cryptocurrencies. Why not? The second largest mortgage lender, United Wholesale Mortgage, starts to accept Bitcoin payments next year, starting with Bitcoin. They say that hopefully this year we can execute on that before anyone in the country. They're starting with Bitcoin, but looking at Ethereum and others. There's still no guarantees that this actually happens, but it could be a major move for the company that originated almost 560,000 loans in 2020 worth an astonishing $183 billion. The firm is the second biggest mortgage lender in the United States. Dan, Eve, will you soon be paying your mortgage in cryptocurrency?
Well, hopefully I will, because they'll do. One of the services in the UK will accept Bitcoin. But unfortunately, with the way like I think Barclays, Santander, and some of the others have gone, it's pretty much the opposite. I think even Tesco the other day gave a note out saying about cryptocurrencies being a scam, so they're going to stop all payments to cryptocurrencies or something. So I don't think we're kind of going that way yet. But at the end of the day, it's a natural progression, right? And I think that the more services that come on, the more mainstream services that actually start accepting Bitcoin, then eventually banks and mortgage companies and co will actually have to start accepting it. They'll be left out otherwise. And they're already being left behind anyway. And I think maybe they're just a bit. Banks are a bit sad that they're losing out on international remittances and the absolute killing they make, making absolute huge stacks of money off of people sending small amounts abroad, and a lot of that money being a commission. It's just a savage, right? The fact that the smaller amounts and the fact that people are sending money home, that's something that's been hit so hard. That is hit so hard when really something like Bitcoin and especially Lightning, as the rollout in El Salvador has even proven that it can be done so very quickly and easily. In fact, I think I did see a Jack Mallers video today that he sent. I think he sent like $10 via his bank. Actually, I was pretty impressed with this, and then it was like instantly converted to Lightning to someone. And so I think it was in Nigeria actually, or in Ghana. So that was absolutely awesome. The more services we can see like that, and I think the more banks that actually dip their toes in the water, the more success they'll have in the long run, because that's what Bitcoin was built for, making sure that we don't have a reliance on the banking system. So it's a case of I think now it's a case of, what's the word? If you can't fight them, join them. And you can't fight Bitcoin because it's a multi-headed ninja snake that you just can't turn off until the last miner is switched off. So just give in, banks, and let us pay for stuff in Bitcoin, mortgages and shit.
Stefan Kinsella, they're offering you a chance to pay your mortgage in Bitcoin.
They'll have my Bitcoins when they pry it out of my cold, dead hands. I think it's cool that they're doing this. My guess is there's two main reasons, to set themselves apart from the competition. Hey, we accept crypto. So there's something different about us. And also it could be, I wonder if some of these companies, some of the guys have trouble talking the board into doing the corporate treasury strategy. So this is sort of a backdoor way of doing it. Well, we'll just accept some payments in Bitcoin, and then they just won't necessarily convert them all. So maybe that way they'll accumulate Bitcoins. But you wonder how long it'll last too, because who was like the first company? Was it like Overstock? Remember, announced for a while it was going to accept payments in Bitcoin, and even Tesla. And I think they backtracked on that after some time. But maybe we're at a new level, and that's here to stay. But yeah, I think they're hoping to capitalize also on some people with newfound Bitcoin wealth who don't have anything else to do with it and that are not necessarily diehard hodlers. So, hey, why not take some of their Bitcoins from them by letting them pay for their home with it, maybe get a house bigger than they should be affording, and they have to spend their Bitcoins on it. So I think it's a Bitcoin accumulation strategy by this company. But no, I won't be parting with mine. I don't spend my Bitcoin.
I do think they'll have similar problems to Tesla and Overstock, as you mentioned, because once they get the Bitcoin, what can they do with it? If they can't buy new home mortgages with Bitcoin, they've reached a dead end, right? They're going to have to convert it. They're going to have to pay a fee. They might have to have an extra tax or some kind of thing. So I think it all comes back to that thing where not everyone can accept Bitcoin because they can't buy things to sell with it. Like Overstock couldn't pay their merchants to get more stuff to sell more widgets. The merchants wouldn't accept it until everyone wants it. Bitcoin adoption is a really difficult proposition because of this chicken and egg back and forth. But at some point, there'll be a wave where everyone wants it, everyone has it, and it's really easy for them to switch into it. Until then, I think they're going to have that one-sided market project problem. And like Stefan was saying, unless they're just planning to save the Bitcoin, unless it's a secret investment strategy, I don't know what they're going to do with it once they get it. Josh Shigala, your thoughts on Bitcoin and mortgages?
If they were really smart about it, they would allow people to over collateralize their loans. I mean, this is the way we're going. People are sick and tired of it. They want hard assets and soft assets. They want to accumulate. They want to save. This is the culture that Bitcoin is coming from. If they don't understand the culture, then they should get the fuck out of here. No, I really, people. This is what DeFi is all about. This is what Bitcoin's all about. Collateralizing and then borrowing from that. So actually, you have more value, and you get something a little less that you can afford, that your value can afford, and you don't sell that value. You use it as collateral. And then if that collateral falls below, then it gets liquidated. That's when the loans get liquidated, and they can profit from that as the people giving those loans. But really, this is the way forward. I really hope that the industry heads more and more towards that model, and this is the true model to break the entire poverty cycle that. Geez, I'd have to say like 80% of Americans. I learned the other day 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. I mean, this is such a crazy number, and it's so and seeing things like what we're building at the Standard, or what BlockFi do, or anything, or what MakerDAO does, by allowing people to save but still have liquidity. Because the problem is, if you live paycheck to paycheck, you just don't have the ability to save. But what's wonderful in Bitcoin, if you can put it away, borrow from yourself to have liquidity, and then live, that first of all breaks that whole cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. So I'm really hoping that this technology will help people bust out of that. Mortgages are one of the main ways that governments print money. It's one of the main ways that they get more money out there. It's what drives inflation. So you drop interest rates in Europe. Here we have negative interest rates. Like, it's so cheap to buy houses right now and loans. Saying all of this, what you do want to get is debt in an inflationary environment. This is how you secure your wealth. This is how the wealthy get wealthier in a hyperinflation or a large inflation, or even any inflation, actually, is that you take fixed interest rates to buy real assets with debt in an asset that's depreciating in value or losing value. And then, like, let's say you buy a house for 500,000, and then in 10 years' time, a carton of milk costs the same amount. You've effectively paid off your house with a carton of milk. So this is what happens. This is how the smart people have their savings. So it might be a good thing. Just don't spend the hard savings, like the hard assets like Bitcoin, to buy a house. It's probably better to over collateralize the loan and get something nice. Not financial advice.